Mark Occy Occhilupo is one of the most talented power surfers to come out of Australia in the 80s, and one of the few men alive to ever contend with three-time world champion Tom Curren. However, his climb to the top was not without challenges. We're embarking on Occy's life, career, plus unveiling the true reasons why he carries the status of legend in surfing. Occy's early life was more unusual than most professional surfers. Marco J. Luciano Occhilupo was born in June 1966 in Curren to Luciano and Pam Occhilupo. His father was a no-nonsense civil engineer who moved from Trieste, Italy to Curren in 1953 for his work. He worked long hours, leaving Pamela, Mark's mother, and his sisters Shanla, Alex, and Fleur to raise him. Because of their influence, Occy turned out a bit more feminine. He loved to grow out his hair, play dress-up with his sisters, and most importantly, dance. According to the one-time world surfing champion, dancing is the reason why he's so comfortable on the board. What started as a hobby laid the foundation for his goofy-footed surfing style. Surfing is a lot like dancing, he said in an interview. It's all style and rhythm, and you're definitely on show out there. After his sisters rescued an old surfboard that had been thrown into their neighbor's trash when he was 9 years old, Occy never looked back. His love for the sport brought him to Cronulla Beach, where the best local surfers hung out. The town the beach was named after was no place for a teenager. It was a massive hub for heroin, and Occy lost more than a few mates to it, but never indulged himself. He surfed more than 5 times daily, polishing his craft, hungry for a break that finally crystallized in a $12,000 3-year contract at 15 years old, which his father promptly killed. Luciano wanted his son to be a civil engineer like him, not a surfer, despite Occy's protests, and wouldn't watch him surf for years even after he went pro. Mark's big break came when he met Paul Sargent, a sports photographer who was dating his sister, Fleur, at the time. He sponsored Occy, landed him his first published photo, drove him to contests, and worked with him for years after he made it big. Gordon Merchant also greatly helped. He, along with Jim Banks, helped Mark sign his first contract with Billabong, his longest-standing sponsor. The deal was for $40,000, and with that, Occy was set to take on the world. Occy won his first surfing competition at the age of 13 and left home in the 10th grade as an Association of Surfing professional finalist. He climbed the rankings virtually unnoticed, setting performance standards that remain unmatched. In 1984, at 17 years old, he was number 2 in the world. His powerful and aggressive style helped build a reputation around the same time Tom Curren was at the peak of his career. They both finally clashed in the OP Pro in 1985, where Occy beat Tom in a 3-heat final, and again in 1986. It was one of the highlights of Occy's career, and in 1986 he followed his ambitions of becoming a Hollywood star by playing himself in the 1987 cult classic North Shore. In the years that followed, Occy came close several times to winning the championship, but he never quite got it. He hovered around the top 5 ratings for 1987 and 1988 before it all started to unravel. Occy battled depression in silence. The years of constant competition, dieting, and homesickness wore him down. By 1988, he lost his drive for competition, switching from a simple existence of vegetarianism and yoga to indulging in alcohol abuse, drugs, and partying. Occy led the life of the stereotypical Australian surfer of his time, and it all culminated in the quarterfinal heat at the OP. Fed up with the tour, he threw the event and headed back home to Cronulla. Occy made several half-hearted attempts to return, but with his ever-fluctuating weight and his battle with addiction, it wasn't long before he quit the tour entirely in the early 1990s. Over the next few years, Occy appeared in a few events and remained in the public's eye as a star of Jack McCoy's Billabong videos. After his marriage to his first wife, Beatrice Bellardi, and building a house near Kira Coolangatta, he sat down on his couch and didn't get up for a year. In interviews he's done after his full recovery, Occy has gone into great detail about how difficult it was to seek out counseling at the time. People didn't talk about their mental health in the 80s and early 90s. Eventually, though, he did get up, and he began his long road to recovery. From his peak weight of 111 kilograms, he cut down 34 kilograms under the watchful eyes of Jack McCoy in Western Australia. In the following years, Occy found his passion for the sport again, and a clear vision began to crystallize in his mind. and in 1995, he made a comeback to face a new generation of surfers. He had to contend with the likes of Kelly Slater, Tom Carroll, and Andy Irons. After winning 11 heat events and beating Sonny Garcia in a heat, he lost to Kelly Slater. But that didn't bother Occy one bit. It announced to the world that he was back and proved that all his discipline and hard work hadn't gone to waste. He came close to the championship in '96 and even closer in '97. Occy's big break finally came in '99 at the age of 33. When most surfers have retired from the sport, he won his first world title. The win made him an international hero, not only to Australia but surfers everywhere. His fall from grace and re-emergence made people believe that miracles were possible. After his win, Occy kept himself busy. He placed second after CJ Hobgood in a shortened tour in 2001. Occy announced his retirement in 2005, but that didn't stick. While he's done with competitive surfing, he still shows up now and again to dazzle the world with his talent. Ever the entertainer and performer, Occy turned his ambition to TV next. He was a presenter for Dancing with the Stars in 2011 and became a presenter for Fuel TV. Fast forward a few years down the line and he started a brand new podcast called Occast. On his podcast, he brings on the biggest names in the industry, from legendary surfers like Tom Curren and Kelly Slater to kingmakers like Gordon Merchant. He holds nothing back during these talks, channeling his natural charisma, unique sense of humor, and wealth of experience to make each episode memorable. The fall and rise of Mark Occhilupo are far more than just a redemption story. It's about a surfer who inspired a generation, clawed his way back to the top, and stayed longer in the sport than any other surfer before him. Before pro surfers dreamed of pulling comebacks and reinventing themselves, Occy did it. One of the more understated facts about the man is just how great he was at making friends. Occy's rare brand of humor, goofiness, and perspective made him the perfect confidant and ear to the stars. Through his podcast, he's given a platform to surfers who you might have never known and progressed the conversation of the importance of mental health in surfing. Mark Occhilupo is one of the most talented Australian surfers to ever compete. The story of his return to the industry and winning the 1999 World Championship will always remain in our hearts. It's proof that anybody could change their life given the opportunity.